We love this guy. I love this guy. Former manager of the Guardians. That's Terry Francona. He joins us now. Terry, it's Michael, Don, and Peter. How you doing today?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
We're doing great. Are you a good golfer?
No. I think I have a good personality, and I hope people don't mind being around me. But no, and especially the older I get, no, I'm not as good as I want to be.
Do you enjoy it though? Do you like playing?
I love it. I absolutely love it. And like today, we played a round today with Billy Andrade and the guys. You know, some of the guys that paid to play, and it was a ball. And I hit one good shot every once in a while.
That's all you
kind
need.
of brings me back.
Yeah.
You're not kidding. You hit one and you think, okay, I got it.
Yep.
And then reality sets in.
Now, you're playing in a golf tournament when you usually would be managing a baseball game. You've been doing this your whole life, player and then manager. Are you missing it at all, Terry?
You know, Michael, it's so, you know, I think, 15, 16 games into the season, so it's not very long yet. I don't know what I'm going to miss. And, you know, I'm sure after doing it for, you know, that many years, I'm going to miss something. And my first thing is, you know, the people. I mean, the coaches and the people that you're around every day. And I think that's natural. But I thought this through pretty good. You know, I kind of had a little tug of war with myself last year about, you know, how I was feeling. And then once I made the decision and told my bosses, I felt really good. I felt like a weight had been lifted off me. So I'm not afraid of, like, you know, like what I don't know, you know, of the future. I'm just kind of looking forward to it, and we'll take it as it comes. And, you know, depending on how much or what I miss, you know, then I'll try to figure it out from there.
How much did the game evolve from the time you started till you finished that made you feel that you had to, like, change with it? Was it difficult to make those adjustments?
Oh, boy, it certainly did change. I mean, you know, I remember, you know, back in 97 in Philadelphia, you know, you had a general manager, an assistant general manager, and really that was it. You know, now, you know, baseball operations, there are so many people, and there's so many people that, you know, you're not answering to, but, you know, having communications with. It's become really, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot. I was fortunate in Cleveland where, you know, for 11 years we were really progressive thinking, but they never forgot that people played the game, and they let me be the manager, which I really appreciated, because I don't know if that's necessarily the case everywhere, and I really did appreciate that.
Because of your stature, 2 world championships, you could push back a little bit, but do you look at other managers that don't have that legacy, that can't push back, and do you wonder if you got back in the game and you fell into one of those situations where, you know, here's a lineup that we suggest, how would you handle that?
Well, I wouldn't, and it's not to say that's a bad thing. It's, you know, the game is, like you say, the game's evolving, and I think our guys actually liked when I pushed back, as long as there's a reason to push back. You know, I don't want to just be the old guy complaining, because, you know, sometimes, you know, if you're not willing to change, you know, the game could pass you by. But I don't think I would be comfortable being in a situation like that. It just wouldn't work. I love when somebody has the ability to make me think about something, you know, whether it's outside the box. I love that. But I also know that to be the manager and to do it correctly, you got to make the lineup that you think works and things like that.
You know, I was always dying to ask you, Terry, your managerial career started in Philadelphia, so you had some battles with the Mets, and then, of course, with the Red Sox and the Yankees, and tons of series with the Yankees when you were in Cleveland. What is your impression of the city? Like, when you have that much of a rivalry with a town, now that you look back at it, how do you feel about New York?
I actually loved it. It was funny because, you know, when I'd walk around New York, the fans, the people that did recognize me, they were awesome. Like, they would come up and say, "Hey, man, we hate you, but we respect how you guys played." And I always loved that. And when you play in New York, you kind of feel like you're the only game in town. Like, you show up and the lights are a little brighter, and the games don't count more, but I think they're more fun, especially for the players. And I always looked forward to that because it's the biggest stage in the country, and the games were fun. And the Yankees always had good teams, so you're playing against really good players.
So one of the main reasons I would think that you got out last year is you weren't feeling great. Are you feeling better? And I'll put this out there. If you start to feel just tremendous like Iron Man, will you manage again?
Michael, I think my days of feeling like Iron Man are well past. But you make a good point. I mean, I think the grind had kind of grinded me down, and I wasn't feeling good. I was having so many surgeries. In fact, after last year, I had my shoulder replaced. I had a couple hernias fixed. So I think I'm trending in the right direction. It's a lot easier for me to be healthy without the grind of a season. It just was wearing me down. And truth be told, I don't know how I'm going to feel next year. I don't think anybody does. But I set out to retire, and that was kind of my, that's how I feel. And I doubt if I would go back to managing. It would surprise me. All
right, now that you're not managing, is there a manager that you managed against that you enjoyed the give and take, that you, when the game started, you looked across the field and go, I'm in for a good one here?
Well, there's certainly more than one. I mean, Jim Leland is, to me, he's kind of the gold standard. He's a little older than me. When I was younger, like playing in AAA, see, Jim was with the Tigers at the time, and just you could see he had, the it factor written all over him. And to this day, I still feel that way. Managed against Joe Torre was a treat. I mean, people didn't want to hear that when you have the Yankees and Red Sox, but Joe and I would always sneak down behind, the clubhouse there and say a quick hello, because people didn't want to see you hugging out on the field. But I always respected him so much. So those are two guys that kind of jump out.
Do you think about the Hall of Fame? Because obviously you're going to make it, but do you think about it?
Never. I know I was a baseball lifer, and I know how fortunate I was. And, a lot of guys don't get a second chance. And, after my 4 years in Philly, didn't go very well. And I was fortunate enough to not only get a second chance, but get a chance where a team was ready to win, because that doesn't happen very often either. So I know down deep how fortunate I was.
Terry, as a guy that played and managed in both leagues, are you sad or have any emotion to seeing how the game has changed now, where the leagues aren't different anymore?
No, I really don't. You know what? I really don't. I think, and even if I did, if it's good for the fans, like there's some things that happen in the game that sometimes I'm not particularly thrilled about. But if it's good for the fans, I think we need to suck it up and do it and not complain. And I think this is one thing that the fans have kind of taken to. And so to grow the game, I think we got to do it, whether you like it or not.
I'm wondering, I never asked you this in all the years we've spoken. When you managed Michael Jordan in the minors, did you ever discipline him or get in his face and say, no, that's not the way you do it?
I don't think I ever got in his face. I haven't gotten in too many guys' faces, and I'd have had to get a stepladder. But you were able to, Michael was so coachable, and it shouldn't be surprising, because I don't think you can accomplish everything he did in another sport and not be intelligent and coachable and things like that. I mean, you tell him something once and it got done. And I don't think you have to get in guys' faces that are like that.
If he had stayed with it, could he have played in the big leagues?
I tell people this all the time, and I don't think they believe me. I think if you gave him another 1,000 at-bats, because that's basically 2 more full years, I think he'd have found his way to the major leagues. I honestly believe that. One, he could fly. 2, I found out quickly, if you ever told Michael the answer is no, he's going to find a way to make the answer be yes. And he just has that factor that, his competitiveness is so off the charts that I think he'd have found a way.
All right, now when you get up in the morning, Terry, obviously you're going to get ready for golf tomorrow, but when you get up in the morning, do you look at the Guardians right away, or do you look at all of Major League Baseball?
I look at all. I love. That's one of my fun. Ever since I've been in, I grew up, looking at box scores in the paper. Now you don't necessarily have the paper anymore, but I love looking at, not just the scores, but I'll pull up the box scores because I just love looking at them. And I certainly look at the Guardians, but then I look at all the other games too. I look at Tampa because I want to see how Cashie's doing. I look at Kansas City because I want to see how Macatero's doing. The people that you've been around, and because I was with so many damn teams, you kind of get to know everybody. But it's relaxing. If I'm eating breakfast, I love looking at the box scores.
Well, you sound great. I hope you feel as good as you sound, and good luck in the golf as the days move forward. And we thank you for coming on. I always love talking to you.
Oh, Michael, it was so nice to talk to you, and I need every bit of luck you have tomorrow because when that slice comes out, man, it can get awfully nasty out here.
Listen, just turn a little further to the left. You'll be fine. It'll slice right back.
You completely solved it for Terry.
Guys, if I turn any further, I'll be out of bounds.
Well, enjoy it at least.
Hey, it was great to catch up with you guys.
All right, thank you, Terry.
Take care, Terry.
That's Terry Francona. He might not think about the Hall of Fame, but he's going to the Hall of Fame for sure. All right, we'll take some more phone calls, 1-800-919-3776. But first, Don has a message to tell you about Mazda.